Welcome to Chasing Curiosity TV. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. Breaking news. Hundreds of Chinese maritime militia vessels have once again swarmed Julian Felipe Reef, a flashpoint in the West Philippine Sea. The scale of this incursion is staggering, with ships stretching as far as the eye can see, their presence impossible to ignore. The Philippine Coast Guard is on high alert, their vessels patrolling the contested waters day and night, scanning the horizon for any sign of escalation. Tension is palpable as officers monitor radar screens, ready to respond at a moment's notice. On September 29, 2025, headlines blare across every major news channel and social media feed, painting a grim but all too familiar picture of confrontation and uncertainty in the region. Once again, a massive fleet of Chinese vessels, many disguised as fishing boats, has anchored deep within Philippine waters, their intentions clear to all who watch. Their fishing nets are stowed, their crews idle and watchful. This is no innocent gathering of fishermen, but a calculated show of force, a silent, coordinated act of intimidation meant to send a message. China's gray zone tactics are on full display, squeezing the Philippines' maritime rights without firing a single shot. The standoff is tense, the threat ever present, as the world watches and waits. These vessels form a floating wall, blocking Filipino fishermen from their traditional fishing grounds, cutting off livelihoods, and asserting Beijing's expansionist policy with chilling efficiency. The Philippine Coast Guard and Navy continue their patrols, issuing radio challenges that are often met with silence, mockery, or even aggressive maneuvers from the Chinese fleet. The overwhelming number of Chinese ships stretches Philippine resources dangerously thin, creating an illusion of uncontested control and dominance in these disputed waters. Each vessel openly defies international law, blatantly ignoring the 2016 arbitral award that affirmed the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. Legal victories on paper are met with disregard on the water. Filipino patrol crews watch helplessly as their nation's waters are occupied with impunity. The psychological toll on these frontliners is mounting, as hope gives way to frustration and anxiety. Diplomatic protests pile up, ignored by Beijing, while the international community offers only words of concern and condemnation, but little concrete action. The time for mere observation is over. As the situation escalates, a new, bolder strategy is now a necessity for the Philippines to defend its sovereignty and secure its future in these contested waters. In response to growing tensions and repeated incursions in the West Philippine Sea, the Philippine government unveils a bold and unprecedented plan: the creation of a formal Philippine maritime militia. This initiative signals a significant shift in the nation's approach to maritime security and sovereignty. This is not an act of vigilantism but a carefully structured program designed to organize, train, and equip Filipino fishermen. These men and women will serve as the nation's eyes and ears in the contested waters, working closely with the authorities to monitor and report suspicious activities. The goal is clear: to empower those most affected by Chinese aggression, transforming ordinary fishermen into active defenders of their own waters and livelihoods. With specialized training, modern equipment, and direct lines of communication to government agencies, these fishermen will shift from being passive victims to becoming vital participants in the nation's defense strategy. Their mission is not to engage in combat, but to conduct surveillance, gather intelligence, and maintain a strong, visible Filipino presence in the West Philippine Sea, deterring illegal activities and encroachments. This marks a decisive pivot from a reactive stance to a proactive strategy, populating our waters with a resilient, organized civilian fleet that stands as a symbol of national unity and resolve. A state-sponsored Filipino militia complicates China's narrative, challenges its attempts at control, and asserts the Philippines' rightful claim to its maritime territories. The move is met with widespread support across the country, reframing the story from one of helpless victimhood to one of resilience, courage, and national pride. The maritime militia is more than just a strategy. It's a powerful declaration of national will, unity, and the enduring spirit of the Filipino people. For over a decade, the Philippines has relied heavily on diplomacy and legal action as primary tools to resolve the complex West Philippine Sea dispute. Hundreds of diplomatic protests were filed, and a landmark 2016 legal victory at The Hague affirmed Philippine rights over the contested waters. Yet, China dismissed the ruling outright and intensified its aggressive campaign, building artificial islands and harassing Filipino vessels with impunity. Diplomatic notes and international pronouncements have proven powerless to change China's behavior or alter its strategic ambitions. The stark reality is that Beijing respects power, not paper, and continues to assert its dominance. Manila has learned the hard way that without a credible deterrent, legal victories remain hollow and ineffective. The shift to a maritime militia is not a rejection of diplomacy, but rather a necessary complement to it. Effective diplomacy must be backed by tangible leverage, a robust and visible presence on the water. By establishing a people-powered fleet, the Philippines significantly strengthens its negotiating position and asserts its sovereignty. This strategy is about speaking softly while carrying a bigger stick, ensuring peace through strength. Action is needed not to provoke war, but to prevent the silent and gradual loss of sovereignty. Only from a position of strength can future diplomacy succeed and ensure lasting peace in the region. The Philippines can look to Vietnam, which has faced similar pressures from China. Vietnam's maritime militia, the Dan Quan Tu Ve Bien, is a state-sponsored force of fishermen integrated with the Navy and Coast Guard. These dual-role vessels serve as a vast surveillance network and can form counter-swarms to assert presence. Their numbers and persistence make them difficult for China to intimidate without risking escalation. During the 2014 oil rig standoff, Vietnam's militia swarmed the area, drawing global attention and pressuring Beijing. The key lessons: state leadership, investment in dual-use technology, and integration with professional forces. Vietnam's model shows that a smaller nation can stand its ground through organization and the power of its people. The Philippines can adapt this blueprint to its own needs and geography. Cleverness, courage, and unity can counter even a superpower's gray zone tactics. Building a Philippine maritime militia requires a clear, methodical plan. First, recruit and vet volunteers from coastal communities most affected by Chinese harassment. Rigorous screening ensures participants are patriotic and reliable. Next, provide comprehensive training. Not just seamanship, but maritime law, surveillance, and secure communications. Volunteers become effective maritime sentinels, not soldiers. The government should commission local shipyards to build dual-use patrol fisher boats, modular, reinforced, and equipped for both fishing and surveillance. A pilot program of 50 to 100 boats can jumpstart the fleet and refine the design. This effort demands collaboration across government agencies and partnerships with allies for training and technology. With precision and unity, the concept of a maritime militia can become a powerful reality. The foundation: trusted people, modern boats, and seamless coordination. The maritime militia is not just a defense strategy, it's an engine for economic growth. Building the fleet in local shipyards invests billions in Filipino industry, creating thousands of skilled jobs in coastal regions. This sparks demand for ancillary industries, fosters innovation, and boosts self-reliance. Empowering fishermen with better boats and equipment lets them fish safely and productively, increasing incomes and food security. Dual-use vessels open access to richer fishing grounds, transforming fishermen into agents of prosperity. Protecting the West Philippine Sea secures trillions in resources for the Filipino people. The program strengthens both the nation's shield and its economic spear. The maritime militia pays double dividends: security and development. The effectiveness of the militia hinges on advanced vessels and smart tactics. Patrol fisher boats are dual-use, efficient for fishing but reinforced and equipped for security. Each boat features encrypted communications, AIS trackers, cameras, and possibly radar, turning them into mobile sensor platforms. Their mission: assert presence, document incursions, and support fellow fishermen, never to escalate. Operating in coordinated groups, they conduct sovereignty patrols and contest China's control through resilience, not confrontation. Coordination with the Navy and Coast Guard is vital. A clear command structure ensures legitimacy and safety. Militia members are trained to observe, report, and persist, disengaging if situations turn hostile. Real-time intelligence from the militia guides professional forces to respond effectively. This division of labor empowers fishermen as a legitimate civilian auxiliary, not combatants. Technology and discipline make the militia a force multiplier on the high seas. The maritime militia is a vital layer in the Philippines' defense, not a replacement for the Navy or Coast Guard. Integration requires unified command and real-time intelligence sharing through the National Coast Watch Center. Militia vessels provide detailed surveillance, guiding Navy and Coast Guard deployments efficiently. Their civilian presence acts as a buffer, making Chinese aggression politically costly and buying time for diplomatic or military response. Regular joint drills build trust and interoperability among all forces. The militia's role, observe, report, and persist, never escalate. By weaving the militia into the national security fabric, the Philippines creates a resilient people-powered defense. This layered approach maximizes the nation's maritime strength. The time for hesitation is over. The West Philippine Sea is an existential issue for the Philippines. Diplomatic protests have failed. The nation must seize the initiative. A state-sponsored maritime militia is the most pragmatic step, leveraging Filipino courage and resilience. This requires political will, legislation, and a whole-of-government approach. Even a modest pilot fleet signals resolve and shifts the balance. The goal is not conflict, but empowering citizens to defend their waters legitimately and non-violently. The militia embodies Bayanahan, Filipinos working together for the common good. It is a force for peace through presence, reclaiming the narrative from victimhood to strength. The cost of inaction is far greater than the challenge of building this fleet. The future of the West Philippine Sea and the nation rests in our hands.